Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce all the participants for this today's session. I would like to heartily welcome our speaker for the today's session, Mr. Bikram Singh Kalsi, Dr. Varinder Garg, our principal investigator, and our co-principal investigators, Dr. Harish Kumar and Dr. Sakshi Kaushal, and all the coordinators from the Printers Institute. So today, we have a session named "How to Make an Idea into a billion-dollar company." This session will give you insights about critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and many more things. So before moving on towards next thing, I would like to play a video of our CIBioD. Talking about CIBioD, Center for Innovation Biodesign, is the platform funded by ICMR and situated in PGIMR, Chandigarh. It is working on promoting innovation in medical devices and instruments by creating a conductive and ecosystem with the involvement of multiple premium technology institutes in collaboration with PGIMR India. And it has achieved a tremendous amount of progress in the field of IT. However, we are still lagging behind areas of innovation and research in healthcare. CIBioD aims to fill in these voids in innovation and research in Indian healthcare sector. Now, talking about the objectives of CIBioD, we believe in innovating different medical devices, instruments, and technologies, and including life sciences and other branches of healthcare for making healthcare affordable. Also, along with this, we believe in providing automated solutions and approaches for various medical problems, giving manpower training for researchers, clinicians, and faculty working in the area of medical sciences, and providing a consultancy to hospitals and businesses in the area of medical science. Now, giving a brief about our Arogaya CIBioD short-term attachment program, it is providing a golden opportunity for students, researchers, faculties for exploring different horizons of research. And some of the salient features of the attachment are learning about innovation, incubation, prototyping, and commercialization of novel ideas in affordable and scalable healthcare. Now, introducing our speaker for the session today, Mr. Bikram Singh Kalsi, who is currently serving as an innovation director at CIBioD, that is Center for Innovation and Biodesign, PGIMA, Chandigarh. Now, talking about his journey, he graduated as a computer science graduate in 2014 from UIT Punjab University. Just after his graduation, he started his own startup named Brainstorming Technology, which uses cognitive science to empower students and remove their confusion and also give them career counseling. Apart from this, he is an avid reader and a great entrepreneur by heart and enthusiast. So yes, today I would like to introduce my great mentor, Mr. Bikram Singh Kalsi. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Siddhant. Okay, that was very nice. We learned a lot about CIBioD and what we're doing. And last week I had a session. We discussed about how to do research in the multidisciplinary domains, and why it's now becoming more and more prevalent that you have to come into multidisciplines in order to attack the real problems, the big problems that are left out in the world. So today our topic is different. It's interesting. It's into a different side. It's into the side of like the ideas that we have in our minds. How do we, make them from paper into a brick, into a company, and make money, help people, give them employment, solve people's problems, all that thing, right? So before we start, okay, what I would request everyone is to get their bottle of water, okay, and you can take your washroom break right now, but it would be nice if you don't really sit up during the during the speech, during the session. I would also like that if you can turn your notifications to mute, it will be very helpful, and you guys will learn a lot. I will give you an empowerment promise that by the end of this video, by the end of the session, you will be in a much better place to evaluate ideas and to know which idea can become something great and what it will take for it to become something great. And is that idea worth the time? Is that idea worth the effort? Is that idea worth your passion to put 5 years, 6 years, 7 years into it, 10 years into it, your whole life period into it? Okay. So I encourage everyone to get their waters. If you want to take a bathroom break, you can. After that, we will start. Okay. I thought of not putting any videos this time. I will keep this session short. It will be, I will be aiming at 45 minutes. Okay. So that we can all relax till the Saturday out. And also the fact that this session has a lot to do with your own thinking, your own analysis. I will just give you certain points and tricks. You can, the real challenge is yours, and that's your idea. Okay. So I think we will start. Okay. So how to convert? You can see it, right? You can see the video and you can hear my audio correctly. I'll just start. Okay. So how to convert an idea into a unicorn? A unicorn is $1 billion company. Okay. How do you do that? From paper to a skyscraper. So first, let's play an interactive game. Okay. I want all of you to participate. Okay. And I want you to answer one question. I'll post the question now. Just think of it and fill in the answer in the chat, or you can say it on the audio, whatever fits. But please participate. I want you guys, every one of you, 20 of you, how many number there are, want your answers, want you to know what you are thinking. Okay, where you're coming from. Okay. So the question is, what is necessary for a business? And I'll give you 4 options. There is A, B, C, D, 4 options. You can just write down A, B, C, D, and then I will tell you the real answer. So what is necessary for a business? That it be unique, that it be the first market player, the first to market it, that it focuses on the quality of the product, or that it's authentic, genuine, and it's trying to really solve a problem. Come on, come on. So one answer we got. Okay, A, D, D, D. Qualities, that's C. A, C. So we have more D's. We have some C's now. C is taking over. So D and C में fight हो रही है. B, D, right. Okay. So we got many answers, and I think the D's have it somewhat. 1, C, 2A, D, 3D, C, 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 D. So I think the D has it, which is that the product is authentic and it solves, it's actually helping out. So actually the question is a trick question. I'm sorry, it was just a bad trick I played on you. None of these are the answer. Sorry. So the actual answer is, I'll come back to it later, but I'll tell you how you can find out whether each of these answers are not correct. Firstly, unique तो हो ही नहीं सकता. क्यों? क्योंकि इतने सारे क्लोन हैं. There are so many clones. Uber has Ola, Zomato has Swiggy, Microsoft has Apple. So there are so many. So first तो नहीं हो सकता. Second, first to market. That is also not true. IBM was the first to market computers, and now IBM is out of the industry almost in terms of hardware manufacturing and all those things. Now Microsoft and Apple have taken over. Similarly, in the games industry, you can look at that Atari started it all with their 2600 home station. It completely got wiped out by Nintendo and Sega, and then Sega and Nintendo got almost wiped out by PlayStation, and PlayStation is now competing with Xbox. So first to market is also quality B is not matter. In fact, in India, we are ready to compromise on quality as long as it's cheap. That's the fundamental in Indian markets. You can compromise on the quality, and if you can decrease the cost, you'll be selling more. You'll be selling more of the things. It's a very real fact. And lastly, it is authentic. So authentic is also not correct, because you don't really have to sell anything that works, or you just have to sell the desire for the other person. You have to cause the desire to become there, incept a desire, and you're somehow being able to say that I'm solving that problem. So case in point, there are many, uh, okay, I will, this can be a little religious, but there are certain organizations that say that if you donate us money, then some of your problems might go away, like your legal problems might go away, or your financial problems might go away. Or you can talk about the fact that people go to Jyotish Vidya, uh, people who okay, so I got disconnected for a moment here. Let's continue. Okay, so we were at here, right? I feel now it will go well. Right. So now we're talking about the fact that I took this talk. There are parts of this talk have been taken from all these people. Okay, we're just paying them respect, and I'm telling you, you guys can see these guys' videos on YouTube later on. They speak very good things about how to start a business, what is important in a business, what's important, how to lead people, right? And how to, train people. These things are important. So these are the people we want to pay respect to. Now let's move on to the things that they're talking about. What they are saying is that types of business. Now, first you guys need to understand there are two types of business essentially. Essentially, there are only two types of business. One, businesses that are competing, like food industry. Like there is KFC and there is Pizza Hut and there is Domino's. When you are hungry, it really doesn't, you can pick any one of these places to eat, or you can cook at home, or you can go to the Subway, you can go to some food corner, have some food. So everybody is competing here. Everybody has to put on something unique or not. It really matter. What matters is what you're doing and how you can be differentiate yourself, whether by cost, whether by quality, whether by the product, whatever it is that you're giving. Is it worthy for the, so you're competing with others. The second type of business are monopolies. So monopolies means that you're not really competing with anyone. The thing that you are making, no, there is there, it that doesn't exist anymore. So here I put the picture of WhatsApp. And you might be thinking that WhatsApp has so many competitors. There has Telegram, it has Signal, um, Messenger, Facebook Messenger, whatever. They say there are so many of these competitors, but not really. I bet you that all of you will have WhatsApp on your phone, but only some of you will have Telegram. Only few of you will have Signal, and even less of you will be using it. You will be only using WhatsApp for all of your communication. Even though, you have signed an agreement with WhatsApp that they can use your data. You have signed that agreement. They are taking your data, and you are okay with it. That's a monopolistic behavior, that they can dictate the terms and you'll still be using the product. So idea is that where actually may you would it really matters from person to person. But in general, what we in business, what we try to do is we go towards the monopoly side. And yes, in capitalism, in countries like India, America, there are laws that prohibit a complete monopoly. So then there are duopolies. So two or three market leaders are there. Case in point, telecom industry. Who are the market leaders? Airtel, Jio. Before Jio, there was Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, one more company I'm forgetting. So that was it. Now it is Airtel and Jio. Vodafone is almost dead. BSNL was there, sorry. So now BSNL is also dead. So now it's becoming a duopoly. Similarly, in food delivery, what's the duopoly? Zomato and Swiggy. Now, So these are all the kind of duopolies that are existing. In essence, they are monopolies only. Idea is that you want to get here because then you are able to dictate your own terms, your own prices, uh, and you're able to give something to the user and the world that nobody is giving, right? So, for example, the guy that I showed you in the garage, Peter Thiel. So he started PayPal with that guy, Elon Musk. And then after that, after PayPal got successful, he was one of the first investors in Facebook because he was able to see the novelty in it. Mm. MySpace existed before that, during that time period, but MySpace was going in a direction where Facebook was not. Facebook was going in some other direction, and he was able to see that. And his third organization, Palantir, is the real monopoly. If any of you know what Palantir does, so they use the internet and various data sources in order to pinpoint and surveillance and locate people. So when they caught Osama bin Laden, so they were using Palantir to do it. Now that kind of technology does not exist anywhere. So they are the only ones doing it. They are the monopoly. Second would be the infamous NSO project that is there right now, the Pegasus that you guys heard about. That can tap the WhatsApp. So now that is the only company that we know is doing it. So they are able to dictate the terms. And if you calculate, if you look at the papers and you see what a license to tap one phone number costs, then it costs 3 crore rupees to tap one WhatsApp call, one WhatsApp account. So they are rolling around in the money. Now let's look at the fact what is wrong with most businesses. And these businesses are running also. But what is the problem with them? And then I'll tell you what is the solution. The first problem is that there are clones. We clone things, especially in Indian market. This has been happening a lot. The idea is incepted in the other country, in the US or the UK or Singapore or some other place, and we clone it. And when we clone it here, this clone will get clones. So what you're doing is you're copying it and you're giving it at a lower price. And it works. It works in India a lot. So that's why people do it. But the idea is that by cloning, you're not really owning the intellectual property. You're not really owning the rights to making money by doing nothing, by just owning the thing. Owners, I'll tell you later on this talk of class difference and all that, why capitalism and how to basically pivot and how to basically leverage capitalism in order for you to become owners and not workers. So first is cloning, that's the problem. Second problem is costing. That we think any idea that we get, we think that, okay, I can do whatever that guy is doing, but I'll do it at a cheaper cost. And you think that's a business case. That alone can never be a business case. You will always be competing because you do that today and next year someone else will copy you and make a clone a clone out of you and then do it at even half the cost that you are doing. Why? Because there are desperate people in India, there are desperate people in Bangladesh, Pakistan, all these human resource rich countries. People are ready to work for nothing. They're ready to do it. So costing can never be the sole pinpoint of a business. Second is scaring. Third is scaring. What scaring means is that you scare people. You do use fear tactics in order for them to buy your product. Like baby products do that all the time. That use this product or your baby will have some problems. Or disinfectants, healthcare products all the time. They scare you in order to do things. Home security, they scare you in order to buy things. That's also not a good way. And in ERP, when you go into corporate products, all they are about is, telling the client that your customers will get lost because of this problem that you have. Now we will retain your customers. So you do only scaring tactics, that will not work. And that it's for this quality. When you can't do any of them, when you're not doing can't do any of them, and you decrease the quality. You decrease the quality of the product and you aim at a much more bigger market. Hmm. So these are all things that businesses do all the time. They are working, but they are wrong. Why they are wrong? Because they are not letting you produce a monopoly. They're not letting you produce Apple or Microsoft or Google. They are not letting you produce those things. These are tools, but they are not the real meat of the thing. So what is the meat? Okay, so what's the right way to do it? So the right way is that this is something that's called the golden circle. Okay. And this is a way, this is a process to think and to advertise and to develop your core values of your business. So it means we are going from the inner circle to the outer circle. Whenever we are discussing a product. So whenever we are discussing a product, generally what happens is a company like, let's say, HP, Hewlett Packard, that makes laptops. What do? They go from outer circle to inner circle. So they'll say, what are we making? So we are making i10 i7 11th generation computers, now packed with Intel Iris graphic processors, and we're giving 15 hours of battery. How are we doing it? We are doing it with the latest technology, 7 nanometer wafer chipsets, and Harman Kardon speakers combined together to integrate and give you the best media experience on earth. And then they're like, would you like to buy the product? So that's their pitch. If you look at any ad of HP, you will find more or less the same thing. Now, let's take another example. Let's take the example of Apple. What does they do? The guy who's the CEO, he will come up in the jeans and black top, black shirt, and then he will say, Apple, we are doing things because we want to integrate lifestyle with technology and make it seamless. We want to have a seamless integration of your lifestyle, and we don't want user experience to go bad. So they're saying why they're doing it. Okay, and then they say, how do they do it? So we do it by inventing the latest technology that science has to offer. Our engineers are working hard in order to create things that have never been created before. And then they say, what? So now the latest thing that we have done is we've created the M1 chip, which is 5 times more powerful or 6 times more powerful than the last Apple chip, whatever. So that is their strategy of marketing and of thinking. So they are focused on the why. Why are we developing the product? You can sell any product, by the way. You can sell anything. Even if it is shit, you can sell it. But then if you want to make something big, then you need to have passion for it. And you need to have so much passion for it. You need to be able to convince yourself first. You need to be able to market to your colleagues, to your batchmates. There are 60 users and they were their classmates. So you should be able to say to them, guys, in the group chat, you should be able to say that, guys, I started this new business. I really encourage you to look at our products. I think it can help you a lot. And it will really hurt you. It will really cause a lot of pain and a lot of what do you call that, shyness in you to do these things. But you need to be able to do it in order to become very passionate about it, able to defend your ideas. That's the real point. So now let's talk about the 4 pillars of business. The four pillars that can take your idea, make it into a business. These are the core points. These are the necessary points for it. Firstly, the idea itself. The idea itself is born out of necessity. It is born out of the fact that you are looking at something and finding some pain area. Some pain area of whom? Of the user. If the user is a lot, many users, and it's a bigger pain area, then it's a bigger solution. And the idea is that you look at the pain areas and then you formulate a solution. Generally, what happens is that when we start working in jobs, of course, it happens a lot for students, but really, real good ideas also come from businesses in which people are working. And then when we're working, we find out problems. We're finding out that we're getting irritated by some fact, or we're getting, there is some issue that is causing trouble to us, or some industry or some sector. And then we quickly find out what's that trouble and what's the solution for it and how we can make a better solution. Hmm? So the idea is the core concept. Second is the founders. Notice I did not say founder, it's founders, multiple. Essentially two, maximum four. This is a ratio. This is a good market ratio that you need at least two founders or at max four. Four से ज़्यादा, then what happens? Fighting. Because company के ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं. Thought process कहीं रहता नहीं. Things start to flutter out. Inner conflict, groupism exists. So in the starting, there need to be at least two. Each of them need to have their specific roles. If one's role is to give money, they're supposed to give money. The other role is to execute, do the operations that. If one is to do marketing and another is to do tech. So the division of labor needs to be done on day one. Otherwise, you will have conflict between your founders, and that can never be a good thing. Conflict between founders never a good thing. You need to have clear-cut boundaries, who is doing what, and there is no shame about it. That's how it works. Next is team. The team who will help you execute the stuff. The team, that is very important. That is actually very, very, very important. I'll tell you what, if you do a bad hire, if you do one bad hire, because in a startup, there are few people in the beginning. So even one bad apple can delay the project by 6 months. It can delay the project by 1 year. That is in those real figures that I'm telling you. That really happens. So I'll take the example of Airbnb. Airbnb, the first guy that he hired, the first team member that the owner hired, he interviewed for 5 months. And he was for 5 months, he was the only employee there. And for 5 months, he interviewed people. He was very desperate, but he did not do a bad hire at all. He was waiting. He waited. Team is very important. You need to be able to convince others that what you're doing, what you're making, your idea is good. And you need to take their feedback because they are the real delivery people. They are the real technical and domain people. So they are much closer. They have their ear closer to the ground. Do you understand? And finally, it is the execution. In fact, I can say as much as the fact that idea doesn't matter more than the execution. Execution matters a lot more than the idea itself. Execution matters a lot more than the idea itself. Idea can be nothing, but you can make money out of it doing nothing. Think of the iPod. What is the iPod? It's a device that plays music. It's just a device that has a hard disk and it is able to play music. How did he sell so much? And then how did he convert the entire music industry into iTunes? Before that, music was being sold in individual CDs. After that, music was sold on the DRMs, on the download. You can download it, pay for it. How did he do that? It was all about the execution, the operations, the process, the meat of the thing. Daily office जाके क्या कर रहे हैं आप, वही तो फिर मेन है ना. Okay, idea is nothing. In fact, you can take any idea. I'll give you an idea. I'll give you a $1 trillion idea, a $1 zillion idea, and you can't execute it. Make a time machine. That's the idea. Look, I've done the idea. Idea is done. Just make a time machine and fix everything. How do you execute it? That's the whole thing, na? Execution is the whole thing. That's the importance of it. Just wanted to know that. Okay. So now we're talking about the details of all these things. What you need to know. Okay? You can click the picture. You can see the video afterwards. I'll talk. This part is what are the things that are important, and how do you, what is the process of converting an idea into a business? So if you think on all these factors that I'm giving right now, you'll be able to, on paper, make an idea into a business. Okay, so we'll start with the basics. Basics is, firstly, describe the idea in 50 words. Not more, not more than 50 words. Just describe the idea very clearly. In fact, this is something that is called as elevator pitch. That if you meet someone for just 15 seconds, you meet someone at a party, at a shadi, you meet someone at a conference, you meet someone. How do you describe your idea in 15 seconds so that the person says, that's good. And you need to also make a 15-second version of it, a 30-second version, a 1-minute version, 2 minute, 5 minutes, and an hour speech. So these are the things that you need to prepare for your idea. And the more you do it, the better your idea will become. You don't need to cling to any part of the idea. I will come to that later, which is called pivoting. But pivoting essentially means that over the course of time period, when you're looking at your idea and you're finding that your idea sucks, and your idea is, there is some problem in it, something is rotting inside it, then you need to throw that part, even if you love it, even if you love that part, even if you feel that that part was the beginning of the whole thing. You need to be able to chuck that part in order to make a company. That is the process of making an idea into a business. It can never be fully formed. How it is in your head, it's so beautiful, it's so wonderful, abstract, and is, flawless. But as soon as it comes into reality, then reality, it has its own metrics. Then we need to discuss the problem statement. Who is at the problem? Who is the person having the problem? What are their pain areas? Okay. Who are the users, or who is the person who's having the problem? Who's having the problem, and what kind of, how can we give them the solution? Then we talk about the features and the USP of our ideas. Okay. What are the features? What are the things that we are offering? What are the solutions that we are giving? What are the nuances of the solution? What are the sub solutions? What are the features? And what is so unique about it? And like a timeline for creating this thing, and the resources that you require to do it. So in essence, these are the only things that you need to think of an idea into a business. There are many additions, add-ons to this that will crop out of all of these main points. They're the branch points. Let's talk about the branch points. So one is, which are I mean to say important for finance. So these things are important for finance. When you're looking at it, look at the market size. What is the market size about it? How do you do that? It depends on how you source information, how you use Google well, how do you use reports of all these organizations well, which organizations like Government of India ministry reports that have all the statistics about ministries and various departments. Reports that are freely available by these big four companies, Accenture, Deloitte, KPMG, McKinsey, Boston Consultancy Group, Grant Thornton. These are the big companies that release reports all the damn time of what? Of emerging technologies, of emerging solutions, of big problems, of big areas, chances for improvement, all these stuff. It's all padhai. You have to do it. So there you find the market size of whatever it is that you're making. You have to have some formula, some logic to calculate that market size. Then you need to find the aim and the scope of the project. What is the aim? What is the scope? Since it's the beginning, you need to have an aim that is achievable. Don't need to aim everything that I will end world hunger. That's not a goal at all. That can be a goal that I want to help schools in my district and provide them midday meal programs. Now, that is a goal that you can achieve in 6 months or 1 year. Kind of. I don't really know. Okay. Then there is resource requirements. When you find out what the goals are, then go backwards. What is the resources that you need? How much you need? 5 people doing it. Okay, if one person is working 8 hours a day, can they do this thing in 8 hours, or will it take 16, 2 working days, 3 working days, whatever? Hmm. Then you calculate. Okay, this is the cost of the project. This is these are the resources that we require. These are the human resources and the salaries and all those things. These are the equipment that we require. That is the cost. Okay, and then you put 5 or 10% error margin over here, 10% error margin over here. So you put a 10% error margin. You say this is 1.1 time, 1 times. And then you see how is it that when you're making money, what is the investment rate of return? Okay, when are you able to return the investment? Like, you took this much money, how much time it will take for you to run the business, grow your business in that fashion, and then calculate output. These are the things that investors are really interested in. And what's not, they don't really care how much time you take. In fact, since very recently, Amazon was running in loss. Flipkart was running in loss. Make My Trip was running in loss. All of these big companies were running at loss, but they were getting millions and billions of dollars of funding. The idea was that they had a plan, a long-term plan. In the beginning, you don't need a long-term plan. You need a 3-year plan. You need to be able to see 3 years into the future. And your idea, your strategy, your logic for creating that costing structure, that is what's really mattering. Stakeholders involved. Who are the people? Who are the stakeholders? The users, the clients, yourself, then your vendors. Okay, someone, you're taking technology from your distributor and all these things. These are all stakeholders. You need to look each one of them and see what are they, what are their problems, what are their solutions, what is the bottom line in each one of them. That way you'll get clarity and objectivity regarding your own business. Then we need to ask important questions. What questions are important? These are questions that are important, that will make you, jump out of bed at the middle of the night. You won't be able to sleep. These are these kind of questions. Firstly, how do you know people need what you are making? How do you know? How do you know that whatever you're making, people want it? Second, what do you understand that others don't? Like, what do you understand in, let's say, in technology that Apple and Google do not? What do you understand more? Then, how will the users come? How will you get the first 50 users? How will you get the first 100 users, the first 1,000 users, the first 10,000 users? How will you get? How do you make money, and how much will you make it? How do you make money? Do you have one revenue stream? Do you have multiple revenue streams? Are you selling ads also? Are you doing these kind of things? What kind of impact that will cause to the user? These are all linked. These questions are linked. When one question is answered in a fashion, you have to think other questions also. And the question answers might change depending on your own solution. What is the plan of action and deliverables? Like, what is your roadmap? What is the timeline? What are the milestones that you're setting in each part of them? And can you achieve them? These are very stressful questions. And running a business is a very stressful thing. In fact, if you are a student, the general advice that people give is don't run a startup out of college. Don't run a startup right out of college. It will be so excruciating, it will be so extremely painful that it is better to do a job than run a startup. But it doesn't really matter if you're so passionate. If you're willing to take the pain of it, if you're willing to take the pain for it and still work at it, then you will grow more than your peers. That I promise. That you will become more developed than your peers, and after a few years there will be such a difference between yourself and the others that you could really see it. Now, things that are good to have in the metrics. Okay, firstly, that it's online. About 80%, 85% of the startups that do get funded are online. Very few startups are there that are offline, or there's some physical product that has some offline, that is completely offline. Either they are online or they're hybrid, in that there's some physical part and there is some online part. Okay, this is just something that you should know. I'm not saying that this is the it's just a guideline, it's not a rule. Reduce manpower cost. Reduce whatever business you're doing, whatever however you're doing it, the business process of it. Try to reduce the number of people. Try to put more computers over there. Why? Because computer takes only electricity and it will cost you per month very less, like 1/10 of a cost of a human. Humans are expensive. uh, that is the part, that is why there is outsourcing that takes place all the time. Americans, they outsource their people work to us because they are costlier. We are cheaper. India is cheaper, so we do it cheaper. And like right now what's happening is that we are just outsourcing it to the computer. Computers have become intelligent enough to, do it. And that's how people are losing a lot of jobs. I won't say like losing, of course, losing jobs, though that's correct. But what's happening is that new jobs are being created in different avenues, like machine learning, like creativity. Those kind of jobs will never go out of business. But sooner and sooner, more of these jobs are going away. Like for example, initially there is a job paralegal, right? Who's helping the lawyers find out cases and precedences to, for the comparing to their existing case, whether some sort of ruling or some sort of case was already been fought. So they do a search in a program. Right now there's machine learning algorithms that are training itself, that they just read the study, that they read the case, and they're able to suggest with approximation, good approximation, which are the cases that are precedent with. So there are lawyers' work is being somewhat taken by computers. Actually, mostly the cases are done through arbitration. That rather than going to the court, they say let's do the out of court settlement. So you see the cases and you do the out of court settlement. These are the things that are good to have. If you reduce the cost of any of your business by reducing manpower, that's a very big area where you can save. Next is reduce the OPEX overhead, which means that operationally, OPEX means operational expenditure. When you are running the business, can you run the business in a cheaper fashion? Now, I don't, there is a very fine line between cost and quality, and you need to ride that line. You need to ride on that line. It's a very irritating balance of being passive and being overly aggressive. No, you have to be assertive. You have to have the right kind of line between cost and quality. And that's very difficult to figure out. People don't really, even businesses who's running right now, they don't really know it. That's only when you do the thing, you do the job, then you find out. There is some USP. There is some USP with your product, something that differentiates yourself, something that when a person goes from your kiosk at an exhibition, they're able to remember you by some unique factor that you get remembered by. And this is another way of looking at businesses. Before that, let's do one thing. Okay. Before we jump on the next slide, let's do one thing. You guys suggest me in the chat. Okay. We'll open the chat. Now you guys suggest me some idea. Okay. And then we can start filling out these things. The things in the white, we can start filling them out. I can help you do that. Suggest some good idea that can fill out these things. And then we can work on, just helping you out in understanding how we can fill it out. Okay, feedback. Okay, I'll do that. So what do you think? Just punch out an idea, write it in the text box, write it in the chat, and we'll convert it into a business. कर दो, लिखो कुछ, हम देखते हैं क्या लिखते हो आप. लिखाओ कुछ अच्छा आइडिया सोचो, ऐसे कुछ भी सोच दो, लिख दो. अच्छा ये देखो, ये राघव ने लिखा है ब्रेन कंप्यूटर इंटरफेस. ओके, so brain computer interface basically means that brain computer interface means that you have some sort of interface that without touching the phone and just by thinking I can operate the phone. I thinking I can post some Instagram post or something like that. Turn jugaad to innovation through some app. So this is a little vague. Turn jugaad to innovation through some app. Do you mean to say that whatever people have created in their garage, you're able to convert it into a proper product? Is that what you're saying, Lavanya? Okay, so their idea is essentially that of an incubator. That you look at the products that people have made in their garage and then you help them convert it into an app. So that's a very profitable business actually. Sir, no feedback link for this. Okay, I'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do that, Ritika. What I mean to say is that there is SoftBank is there, Y Combinator. These are incubators that are making millions and billions by doing this thing only. In fact, this sheet that you see in front of yourself, I took from Y Combinator. They have on their website, you can apply for their program and you can fill out this sheet. It has a little more stuff in it than this. They also talk about they're interested in projects that are currently being running. So there are a lot of questions regarding the running of the businesses. So they have questions like how many users you have so far, or how do you plan to change things. So the thing is that okay, yes, the fellowship, we'll talk about that later on. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it. Crowdfunding platform for students who can't afford academic fees can sort of advertise their marks or achievement as proof to get funding. Crowdfunding platform for students who can't afford academic fees can sort of advertise their marks as a proof to get funding. Okay, so the idea is that you're basically funding people who are poor but they have talent, something like that. Yes, that's a very good idea. We do that. That's very good ideas. Okay, so okay, let's take this idea. Okay, let's take this idea and we'll just fill out all these things. Okay. So firstly, describe the idea in 50 words. So idea in 50 words, what I said, is it okay that you take people who are, economically challenged, but they're talented, and you fund their education, and you get something out of them. Okay. Now they have sent, they have what in Ran has said, that they can advertise their marks and achievements. So maybe what we can do is we can ask them to do a bond with the company for 1 year or something like that. Not a bond, but like you say, ki, okay, we fund your education and all that, but then you give us 2 years of your life in terms of working with us, or help us develop things, or train with us, use utilize their labor somehow. That could be an idea, right? And you see that is the pivot. We pivoted, we changed the idea a bit, because just advertising the marks and the achievements, yes, it can work, but like crowdsourcing is a very viral aspect, and there is one problem in crowdsourcing that happens all the time. There are 4 big crowdsourcing platforms, and all 4 of them are witness to it, of fraudsters, people who will take the money and do nothing with it, people who are already kind of rich and they still want money, you know that kind of thing. Still, that's a problem within the idea. So now you think of how, what are the solutions, how we can mend that problem. Maybe we can have a verification system. So what kind of verification? Like police verification or something like that. We go to their house, we need some person to operator to go to their house or do whatever. You see the idea, when you're talking about the idea, you're talking about the why of it, you're talking about more in detail, you start finding problems. Continue to find problems. Talk to people who don't like your idea. Talk to them about it. Don't talk to a person who's like, yaar bahut acha idea, wow, kya baat hai, kya idea tumhara, that's a very good idea. Talk to someone who says ye idea nahi chalega. और फिर आप pain लो, you take the pain and you ask them क्यों नहीं चलेगा, and you hire them. And that's the pain you're going through, the pain of analysis. That's what people don't do, and they not able to make products. Then what else? Features and USPs. Okay, what is one feature that can be there in this idea? Can someone name me? Our solution is that we will fund people. Any answer regarding this? Okay. So yeah, so Ritika, what the thing is that I'll talk about this at the end. When we end the PPT, I'll talk about it, and just give me 5-10 minutes more. I could we'll get back to the point there. So you get what I'm trying to say, that when you fill out these metrics, your idea will change over time, and that's how you can come to idea that is more practical, but it might not be the incepted idea. Next, we go into this magic quadrant. This is just a trick. This is a 1-minute trick. What you do is, when you're finding competitors to study, like whoever is doing your idea or whoever is doing the closest thing to your idea, then what you do is you take 2 dimensions. You put 1 dimension on the x-axis, 1 dimension on the y-axis, and you say that, okay, the company B and the company D is more affordable than company B, but both are inconvenient. Company Contoso is affordable also and is convenient also. So project your company in this quadrant, the first quadrant, that is called the magic quadrant. So the companies that are there on the most top right will be the ones that are the best for the client or whoever, or the investor. So 2 dimensions you take and you place all the competitors in that way. Next, we talk about disruption. Disruption basically means that you're going in the direction that is somehow different from the ones which your competitors are doing. That's how you're able to find the meta. And meta basically means that what is going to come next. Predicting the future, predicting the trends. Would you have predicted that Bitcoin would be this big? Could you have predicted that SpaceX could be this big? Could you have predicted the coronavirus and this kind of situation that's arising? If you could have, and you were so sure about your prediction, you would have been a billionaire. Understanding the meta requires a lot of knowledge, lot of contemporary knowledge, reading the news daily, and analyzing, talking it with everyone, what's happening today. This is the real thing that, I mean, everything, even I have 24 hours, you have 24 hours, Bill Gates has 24 hours in a day. Steve Jobs used to have 24 hours in a day. But what were we doing with those 24 hours? This is the thing, understanding the meta, understanding the new trends from the current information. If you can do that, it's a very cool thing. You have a skill that people will may pay you money for. You can even do your own idea. Next comes the execution part and what is important there. Essentially, execution requires you. I know it's time is a little short. I'll wrap it up. 3 slides more. We'll wrap it up. Execution may the main thing that is required is that you're able to talk to your teammates, to your team members, whoever's working under you, with you, and to communicate with them, to collaborate with them. This is the art. And the art, I'll give you 2-3 tricks. One trick is that you admit your fault. Even if it is not your fault, you say sorry. This is very important when you need to get work done from colleagues. You say sorry all the time about certain situations, certain problems arise, even if it is not your fault, even if you feel bad about it. After that, the other person sees that you're sorry and they will help you do your work. They will help you facilitate your things. Collaboration is required, communication is required. If you don't understand what the other person, what the other team member, what the other technical person, domain person's thinking, feeling, then there is a gap and things will not go in the right direction. Most important things. If I have a choice of hiring someone who is very intelligent but not a good communicator, and someone who is moderately intelligent and a good communicator, I would pick the second category. I will pick someone who is good in communication and moderately intelligent. And critical thinking, thinking outside the box. These things can only happen in a stress-free environment. Creativity, these things can happen only in stress-free environment. It all boils down to leadership, how you lead people, how you lead things. You have to be able to solve their problems. If you solve the problems of your employees, then they will consider you a leader. If you're not able to solve the problems of your employees, then you are not their leader, and they will never admit you are their leader. This is the fact, the rule. This is a rule. Empathize with them. You have to grow your empathy so much. I will tell you a crisis that is there in the workforce today of this generation of people. Our generation of people have this crisis. The crisis is we need a lot more empathy. And the people who are running the show, the the boomer generation, they don't talk to us in the fashion we want. And there's a generation gap. Just think of kind of like, I understand that everybody has good relationship with their family and parents, but think of the times when there was a stressful conversation and there was a difference in your thought process, and the idea was that they weren't empathizing enough. Always just look at what happens. Connect with no number of people. This is an art. If you're an extrovert, you'll get more benefit out of this. If you're more gregarious, you get more benefit. If you're an introvert, then whoever you connect with, they will become a very strong connection. So it doesn't really matter how many people you connect with, but they need to be a strong connection with them. I need to have a balance in life, work-life balance, a balance in everything. Zero नहीं होता और 100 नहीं होता life में. There is only 50, 60, 75, 100, 80. There is never zero, there is never 100. Because at the far ends is depth, life is balance in all aspects. If you think that there is a deadline and there needs to be so much work that needs to be done, everybody is tired, you push the deadline and you don't take the stress about it. Most businesses people can't run because it is a very stressful situation, and it becomes there because of the imbalance loss. Finally, after doing all this, like creating an idea, then looking at the companies and forming it out, working at executing it, leading people, creating a good product, and now yes, we're getting funded, we're getting series A funding, okay, series B funding, okay. Now what? Now the thing is that now you're like your values and ethics, they will compete with the greed and pride factor. Case in point, Byju's started out very well. Byju's started out very well. The guy struggled for 7-8 years. After that, he got funded. He started increasing, climbing the ladder. And then he wanted to go very quickly. It was the greed and pride factor. He wanted to go very quickly to the top. Started cutting things in areas. The salesmen became more aggressive. They were using a lot more fear tactics. You hear the stories of Byju's salespeople. Just look at in the YouTube or things like that. You will come to see what kind of tactics they were using to sell their products. They still are. They're very cutthroat in that matter. And I'm a firm believer that that is not how businesses should run. Of course, this is a thing that capitalism promotes. Agar aap ye karoge, then you make money. Or you will become successful somewhat. But in the long run, you don't. Because in the long run, business is all about people. I think, not about money. That's my thinking. That's different from every whatever. So I'm giving the speech. So I'm giving you my idea. Okay. So this is the thing you need to always understand, that what are your core values and ethics, and how greed and pride will always try to erode that. And where do you draw the line yourself, where you are comfortable with that. Okay. So with that, that is the end of the presentation. I'm sorry to take a few extra minutes. Now I want you to tell about the apprenticeship program. Okay. All this talk is about getting your brain juices flowing on what? On the idea that whatever is in your mind, whatever it is that you're doing, let's apply it somewhere. Let's create things and do the analysis and create better things out of it, evaluate those ideas and create more stuff. And we have this wonderful program, the apprenticeship program in CIBioD. We are looking for multidisciplinary people. We're looking for people in biotechnology. We're looking for people in biology and MBBS. We're looking for people in engineering, computer sciences. We're looking for people in machine learning, data sciences, business administration. Anyone who wishes to apply here. What we can do is by the what Rima will do is they will share you, they will share everyone who's connected with us this application form. Okay. And you guys can apply on that form, and in that form there will be demographic information. So there is, okay, but then there will be a self-rated kind of table in which we're asking you, okay, we're asking you, what do you think honestly, comparing yourself with others, your peers, how would you rate yourself on different factors? And you fill that out honestly. I would really request that. It would really help us. It would really help you also. Okay. And understand, it will help us understand, narrow down few people. Right now, I think we're looking for 6-7 people. And it would be really nice for you guys to submit your applications. I'm a dental surgeon. I'm not very interested in your function. Okay. So that's great. You're a dental surgeon. That's wonderful. So great. So what we'll do is we'll shoot you the emails. Okay. And you can fill out the forms and fill out the self-rated survey. Then we will have, just a candid conversation over the phone call. Okay. I will definitely call you guys, okay, whom we are interested in. And we can then take things further from there. Okay. I really enjoyed talking with all of you. I really enjoyed that you guys participated. Uh, yes, you will get the link in the email. So I really enjoyed talking with all of you. You guys participated really well. There were less of you, but that's okay. That's okay. I would also like you to say that this PPT, if you want it, we will share it over the email along with the application form. Okay. And rest, if any questions other than that, take your leave. I think I can take your leave. Any other questions? No.
Yes, students, if you have any queries, then please ask Mr. Vikramjit Singh Kalsi.
Okay, great. So no questions. Okay, fine. So okay, guys, have a wonderful Saturday. Have a wonderful life. Okay, develop something great and enjoy yourself. Okay, wonderful, great. You were great, guys. Oh, thank you very much. You guys are great. Wonderful.
Janki Insan has some question. She has
Okay.
raised her hand.
Okay, what's the question? You can ask. You can unmute them, I think.
Hello, sir. I just wanted to ask that if you could give a brief overview about what your aims for the apprenticeship programs are, like what are you looking for actually
Okay.
in the future?
So the basic aim would be that you guys will be working on a project that is a real-time prototype. And our aim for the prototype is to address some problem. It's an idea. We want to make a working model out of it, a working prototype out of it, an MVP, a minimum viable product. And you will help. We will get the help of your labor. You will get the help of our ex experience. Second, like an appreciation certificate. And if you do really well, you can be part of the patent. The idea is that we want to make those products and sell it. Okay, we want to sell it in the sense that we want to convert those ideas and let companies come and take it things from there, invest in those ideas, grow them into big products, big ideas. That is the aim. I'm sorry, I should have told you that, but that's really the aim. Well, HNK, you're a good person for giving 100%. Great, but don't give 100%. You have to give not 100%. That the balance, very important is balance, man. Okay. So what else? Any other question? Any
No,
other
sir.
question?
Thank you, sir.
Oh, guys, you were great. I really enjoyed. Have a wonderful Saturday, Sunday.
So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining the session, and thank you so much, Vikram sir, for giving such a enlightenment to us for this session. And I hope whatever discussion he has given for the apprenticeship program, I think so. We are very excited to work with you. I'm also excited, very excited to work with you guys. So yeah, thank you so much. And before leaving from the session, a very gentle reminder that please fill the feedback form which would be shared with you. And yeah, signing off today. Thank you so much.